Hello, hola, ¿cómo están? How are you all doing? Okay, my name is Ted, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Fanchants. Fanchant. It's something that comes out of Korea, and you saw it, you may have heard it if you were watching the AMAs, the American Music Awards, this last week. Fanchant is something that is surrounding these Korean bands and very popular throughout the world, but not yet in the United States with American singers. So let's see all about Fanchant. First of all, let's begin with almost 45 years ago, the Beatles came to the United States and broke down one barrier that we had about music outside of the United States. And they brought in a whole pile of bands behind them, all from England, and it was called the British Invasion. Now we have, this last week, we have a band from Korea bringing the possibility of a new invasion, which I call the Asian invasion. They sang at the American Music Awards, and their fans piled into that theater with over half the tickets, chanting along with their music, giving the people who were in the audience a whole new experience of watching a band, because we in the United States do not chant along with our bands. We will sing along politely, or we will cheer and scream, but we don't chant. And chanting was a whole new phenomenon that happened. First of all, let's see what happened when the Beatles came. That screaming got so loud that the Beatles could not hear themselves playing their instruments or singing. They oftentimes would change words, say stuff on stage, goof around on stage, not even singing, because the people were so loud they wouldn't have been able to hear the music anyway. Well, that's the way it was 45 years ago. The Beatles didn't like singing live after a lot of those, and they stopped singing live. If you notice and if you listen to the Beatles, as they were recorded properly for television, you don't hear half the screaming. The difference here tells you and shows you what happened when BTS came to the United States for the first time here a week ago and sang on the American Music Awards. People in our rooms, as we watched TV in the living rooms, we would hear them singing, and we heard very little of Fanchant. Here is Fanchant as it was probably heard from the audience as BTS sang. All right, what is Fanchant? Okay, Fanchant, first of all, is a chanting which oftentimes replaces backup singers. The members are mentioned by name, members of the group. If we had a Beatles Fanchants, it would go Ringo, George, John, and Paul. Who were greatest of them? No, they wouldn't say who was greatest of them. They'll say Ringo, George, John, and Paul, Beatles. They do something like that at the very beginning, or else perhaps during the song. Then they chant along with some of the lyrics and create other stuff in there, and everybody in the audience knows what to say, when to say it, and stuff like that. Okay, where is this? It's in Korea. Korea's the dominant place with Fanchants. That began in the late 1990s in all likelihood, and just developed until today, and very popular with all of your K-pop artists. They have fan chanting going on during their songs. It is the fans getting included with the songs and helping the bands to sing. Who starts this? Who creates these fan chants? Well, entertainment companies that produce the labels and stuff like that, who help write songs, a lot of times will actually write songs with fan chants in mind, and will then put that out into the public. This is what you say along with. And sometimes it might be them, sometimes it's the fans themselves that create it. And what they do is they get on these fan cafes, they're called. And these are websites where the fans gather together, and the bands themselves will talk and communicate with them, and there'll be all kinds of promotions and stuff like that going on. Fan cafes, YouTube, and fan sites, different areas, they start these fan chants, and then they tell you what to say. And by the time people are getting into the audiences, they know when to say, what to say, and how to say it, and they cheer along with the band. The best fan chants are organized. When you have disorganization, they don't work well. You have somebody who's yelling way too loud. Now, of course, in a large arena, that's not going to matter, but in a smaller arena, that will matter. If somebody's getting way outside of the boundaries and getting kind of weird. Actually, as I'm thinking about it, we used to have, back in the 1970s, there was a movie called Rocky Horror Picture Show. And Rocky Horror Picture Show had this type of chanting going on on a regular basis, on the good ones.
Well, I guess we'll just have to turn back.
To continue the fight through the months ahead for my personal...
What was the bang?
They must have a blowout. Damn it! I knew I should have gotten that spare tire fixed. Well, you just stay here and keep warm, and I'll go for help.
Where will you go? We're in the middle of nowhere.
The great issues of peace.
Didn't we pass a castle back down the road a few miles? Maybe they have a telephone I could use.
I'm going with you.
It got kind of chaotic towards the end. There would be actually midnight showing, and every week people would watch the same movie over and over again, and people would chant along different lines and different, basically talking to the screen back and forth, and the whole group knew what to say and when to say it. This, however, began to die out as more and more people just, by the time I went to my first Rocky Horror Picture Show, it was all disorganized. People were just swearing and yelling, and there was no sense of solidarity. There was no sense of unity at all. So you have to have a good organizational unity. They've got to be working with each other. And right now, it is working with each other for a lot of bands. Your chanters, your fans are getting right on board and going right in line and saying the right things at the right times. There's a lot of complaints on the internet about ballads and doing fan chants during ballads. So you got a real slow song and then people are chanting. It just doesn't seem to fit. So there's a lot of complaints about that. If you want to find some good fan chants, type in on your Google fan chants K-pop and you will get a whole lot of them. It's a fascinating, new thing, and I think honestly I did a video back a few months ago about BTS. It was kind of a reaction of mine. And I decided that any kind of K-pop music, generally speaking, you'll have great choreography. They focus a lot on that. That is the strength of K-pop. If you take that out, you start just focusing on the music, I don't think K-pop's going to go very far. But the choreography is huge. And add to that now these fan chants, and you have a new genre which could take over the world. It actually has in a lot of countries. Since I'm beginning to deal with K-pop and J-pop on the internet, the people who write to me on a regular basis constantly tell me, take a look more at BTS and comment more about BTS. I haven't yet because BTS hasn't done a whole heck of a lot for me, and I told them in my last video, I like old rock and roll music just the way I am. I'm an old guy, I like old rock and roll. Nevertheless, I will say this fan chant is a fantastic addition to the choreography and the writing style of K-pop. I would like to see more of it. I don't know where it's going to go. I predict it will continue to go further and further, will continue to get bigger and bigger, but like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, eventually it's just going to fall apart in the chaos. There's going to be a lot of screaming and a lot of people looking for attention from the audience, and it's probably going to go in a bad direction down the road. That's my prediction. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully I'm wrong. Leave me some comments. What do you think of fan chanting? Would you do it with your favorite bands? Would you do it with somebody who's not from Korea? And last but not least, I would love it if anybody would give me some fan chants for songs written by and sung by the Beatles. Give me some, as if you lived in the 1960s. What would fan chants sound like if they had fans who chanted? All right, this is Ted Olson. I'm saying have a fantastic day. Adios. Bye.